This is Amplify You, the podcast about you discovering your message and broadcasting it to the world. If you're a coach, author, or speaker, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking for the best return on your time investment to get your message out to the world in a bigger way, we're giving you full access and behind the scenes look of how we're running our podcast, how our clients have found success, and what you can do to launch your podcast today. The world needs your message. I'm Michelle Abraham, the host. Join my family as we unleash your unique genius and find the connections you need to launch your adventure today. Join us and let's get amplified. Welcome, Amplify You family. I'm your host, Michelle Abraham. I am here today with the Behind the Mic interview. Today, I'm joined by the host of the Middle Class to Wealthy podcast, Helaina Jeannot. So Helaina has been the host of the Middle Class to Wealthy podcast for the last little while, and she has really created a movement for it. So I want to read you a little bit about the movement. So the Middle Class to Wealthy is a movement formed to enlighten and empower for the purpose of helping people strategically build wealth. So I love that, Helaina. Welcome to Amplify You podcast, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. So we had the pleasure of meeting just recently at PodFest, and that was great. We were in a breakout room together and we got to chatting, and I just love what you're up to. So tell us a little bit about why you started your show.
So really to create awareness around the troubles that we have as the masses around finances. Mm-hmm. So 78% of people within the United States are living paycheck to paycheck. And people don't have savings, people can't afford emergencies. So we're really in a bad state. And I started to wonder why. Like, things that are going to happen in life have been happening to us, over time, whether it hits every family or not. Historically, things are going to happen. And so why aren't we being prepared? We don't learn stuff in school. We don't learn certain information in school, right? And so we're not being prepared for life. So everything we do is more reactive than proactive. And so I started kind of deconstructing what life really is, where we really fit into all of this. And we just need to move to a more proactive model. Mm-hmm. Because if one person can be wealthy and successful and live a great life, why can't everyone else? And so I decided enough is enough. Let's get to work.
I love it. Because you're so right. If one person can do it, why can't the rest of us do it? And it reminds me of like that 4-minute mile, right? Before the record was broken, no one thought a 4-minute mile was possible. As soon as it's broken, so many people have also done the 4-minute mile, right? Like, it's just one of those mindset things, I think. So what have you come to kind of like discover in this journey about what the heck is happening out there?
So the biggest thing is mindset. And I think that what perpetuates the mindset that we currently have as the masses is our educational system. So here in the United States, our educational system is designed to create a workforce. So when I deconstructed everything, what it looks like is the government is self-sustaining. We're taxed for everything that we do. And it incentivizes big business because that's where everyone goes to make their money. It incentivizes big business so that they can get access to our purse strings. And so, so everyone sees their angle except for the individual. And so, look, no business will exist if there are not consumers. There are 3 parts to business. There is product and or service, there is distribution, and consumers. And if you don't have one of these 3 items, you have no business. And so we make up a large percentage of society. So middle class here in the United States is 52%, and then lower income is another 19%. That's 71% of our society. But we're doing all of the work, and businesses are really recycling their money through our communities because it's just an investment for them. So now we do all of the work, we pay for everything, and we can barely make ends meet. So it all comes back to mindset. As a demographic, we already work together. And we work together, we have created empires, infrastructure, businesses, wealth, and we do this every day, but we do it for someone else's benefit.
Interesting perspective. Yeah. And you really take a look at it. It's like, why are we so blind to that? Right? Like what is happening like that? We're not, a lot of people aren't realizing that that's what's happening. Right. And, I was in the nutrition industry, many years ago. And I remember like our nutrition, teachers telling us, you don't need dairy. Dairy is not a necessity. You do not need it to build your bones. You do not need it for calcium. In fact, there's more calcium in broccoli. And I remember looking around the grocery store, I was like, damn, they're good at marketing because they've convinced us all that we need it. And oh my gosh, if we all stopped drinking milk and stopped using dairy products, that whole industry would go sideways, right? Like, it's just crazy when you think about, the theories around, like, oh my gosh, yeah, crazy.
And I'm glad that that's the example that you use, because from a small child, we've been fed all of this information. And so we grow up believing this. And so it's the same concept. As a child, we go off to school, we believe that we're being prepared to live this life. As long as we work hard, we'll get the prize. And no, that's not how life works.
I remember sitting at a network marketing meeting one time, and they had this slide popped up on the screen, and I will never forget this slide. It said, the American dream: go to school, get a job, make enough money to save, to retire. I was like, what? I'm like, no, that's not what I signed up for. And, as a Canadian, I can say like the American dream is like also the same dream we're fed in Canada too, is the same sort of thing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I learned at a young age. Like that is not for me. Like that made me want to throw out that slide. I was like, that sounds horrible, and then, you wonder why so many people, when they're about to retire, they have a heart attack and die. And it's like, oh, like, that's not the way of living. Like, that's not, you got to live now. And I just love what you're, bringing to light over here as far as the wealth goes. But mostly Canadians are also one paycheck away. I think it was like over 30% of, I forget the statistic now, but I remember reading a statistic that was scary. Like so many Canadians are one paycheck away from being in poverty. So it's, the same up here across the border. It's a dangerous situation.
Yeah. And, you mentioned retirement. Here we have an affordability crisis. So even while we're working, right? So we have an affordability crisis, we have a savings crisis, a debt crisis, and a retirement crisis. So when in our life are we going to get it right? And we only live one life. So do we want to get to the end and hope that 401k performed the way we thought it was going to perform and we'll live happily ever after in our golden years? And they've raised the age for retirement on top of it. I think it's like 67 now.
Yeah, we were told in Canada that, whatever retirement pension we're paying into all these years of being an employee, that actually by the time like our generation retires, it's not going to be there anymore. So it's like we're paying into something that's not even going to be there anymore. So, I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur. I think I had only a few jobs I was an employee at, and I am thankful every day to have chosen this route instead. And I think for mostly because I can, we can have a better life as a family and not live in that crazy like cycle of like paycheck to paycheck, which is just insane. So what do you think, Helaina, is like the solution? What are some of the things you guys talk about on your podcast that are some solutions to this, like the crazy situation we have going in North America?
Putting your money to work for you. So I will say that, yes, we can leverage our current jobs, whatever that is, whether you're self-employed, employed, whatever the case is, however you get your money, you have to be strategic with that money. But it's a mindset issue that we have, because here, I don't know if you've heard the saying, but keeping up with the Joneses. So we spend a lot of our money and we're spending it with no return. You get what I mean?
Yep, and the jeans and the sunglasses and the cars and the, yep.
We
the
love
stuff that
wealthy, but we're not wealthy.
the second you walk out of the store, that's not valuable anymore.
Absolutely. So first we need a mindset shift. We need to establish better habits, and those habits are going to be around growing ourselves and our understanding of what money actually is, how it works. It is a resource. That's it. It is a resource, just like anything else.
And it's a renewable resource.
Say it again?
It's a renewable resource.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it replenishes itself.
Yes. Putting it to work, and then establishing those savings, fixing that credit, and then raising capital to put that money to work for you, right? And we want a return on our consumption because, like I said, we play a major part in business. So we're faced with COVID right now, and a lot of stores, retail and travel, are having to restructure. So a lot of companies have filed for bankruptcy. Today, I just saw an article that Lord & Taylor's, who has been in business for 94 years, is going out of business. Why? Because they are dependent on consumers. Everything, like the whole system is dependent on consumers. So consumers need to be smarter about what they are doing. Everybody else, they're focused on their returns, their cash flow. You get what I'm saying to you? Mm-hmm. And so they're looking at profitability. Why aren't we? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we need to do. We need a mindset shift.
Mm-hmm. How are you suggesting people, make their money work for them? Are there some ways that you've found to be like really successful for you?
So I joined the Wealth Building Network, but we do partnerships. So we've partnered with a supplier who we leverage their compensation plans. And so now when we do our purchasing, not only the only thing the supplier cares about is that they're making their numbers. And the funny thing is during COVID, Jeff Bezos increased his wealth by billions of dollars and has increased their wealth by billions as well, right? And the reason why is because they focus on necessities, right? So the things that you're going to use anyway. And so what we've done is we've partnered with a supplier. The supplier only cares that they're going to sell their product, whatever that is. And so we need to use the products. So we make sure that we meet those numbers through our consumption. And we've built the company strategically, our partnerships strategically, so that we're benefiting. We can maximize on our compensation as opposed to, competing with each other. Because I feel like we all build these small little businesses, and there's nothing wrong with small business. That is not what I'm saying. But we build these small businesses, but we compete with each other. You know what? Let the big businesses compete with each other. As a demographic, we need to work together and be strategic so that not just one of us are winning, we are all winning.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And joining together and creating partnerships and joint ventures. I mean, we're doing that in the online space too. And like the space that I work in like the podcasting and the coaching space. I mean, just as a great example of that, I have a book coach who's sending clients to us because they're going to record their audio books and make it into a podcast. And then other way around, we're sending clients to her because they want to write books from their podcast. So, no matter what business you're in, I think you can really leverage those partnerships and, collaborate. I mean, collaboration is such a huge thing right now. We need to be collaboratively working together so that we're all benefiting instead of like competing. And I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you've already done it with Amplify You. Like you said that, you've launched how many 100 and some podcasts in the past 18 months. And it's about collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Because then when we launch a show, then they're out there and talking about their products and services in the world, and we're able to refer people to them. They're able to refer people to us. And actually, and the funny thing is that we've actually considered becoming a referral only, or like a hidden kind of business where like you have to have a secret code to get into like the website or something. Because, and we laugh about this. My brother and I thought about doing this last year because my website's been down for about 2 months, and it was an emergency situation where I needed to get it back up and running. And then I was like, do I? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to test out and see, like, do I actually need a website right now? And it may have not got me some speaking engagements, but other than that, I mean, we had one of our best months ever in July just recently. So I'm like, see, you don't need a website. And so it's funny. I just encourage people who are out there thinking that they need to get a website and they get all their ducks in a row first before they even get going in a business. Like, that's total BS. They could just get going. It's all about relationships.
Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys got it right. Building relationships is where the business is at. Leveraging each other's products and services, and especially if they're the necessities, right? If you can start buying necessities, like I used to buy my laundry detergent and dishwasher stuff and toothpaste and stuff that are necessities, all from a company that was a healthy product, that was a good option, and it was a lot cheaper than buying it out of the store or retail, right? For the garbage, and putting more money into the big pockets. I already have my money, right?
Especially if they're now going to pay you. Imagine having a partnership with Target, and Target is now compensating you for bringing them customers.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Everybody wants sustainable income. They want it repeatable. They want it predictable. They want it scalable. You don't want to have to worry about your money, and that's why, like, all these businesses, if you let's say, look up a couch on the internet. Now you're in your email, and the couch that you were looking at is following you. You're on Facebook, the couch is there. And the thing is, like, they're constantly marketing to you because
they got your number.
they need your consumption. You get what I'm saying to you?
Totally, yeah. I even think to the point where when you're talking to someone on the phone about something and then it starts popping up, that's really creepy. Don't you think?
It's the echo.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I always think that, the Apple Play or the Google Play or whatever, that stop listening. I heard a horror story once where they, a couple was talking about they needed new carpets or whatever. And the Google Play had typed out and transcribed their conversation and emailed it to the guy who does their carpet. So it's holy moly, that's scary.
Well, it's funny. They just had, and I know this is not about them, but they just had hearings with all of the big tech.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I felt bad for them because initially I thought it was just about their size. And I'm like, if this is free enterprise, it shouldn't be about their size, but it wasn't just about their size. It was some of their practices. And then they couldn't guarantee security around certain things, and some of the behavior that they've done. So anyway, but
yeah, scary.
Spending our money with, and that's who we're making wealthy. And so that's the model we need to move away from. Is, okay, you know what? I have no problem spending my money with you. But what's in it for me?
Yeah, we really, we were having a conversation about this on another podcast that I host in the parenting space. And we're having this conversation around having a conversation in your family about what's important, right? Is it important to have the jeans and the sunglasses and those things that don't really provide value, really, other than that pure enjoy getting them, feeling cool in them or looking good in them or whatever. But is that what we want to spend our money on? Or is it a vacation, or being able to live somewhere that's a little bit more, a better lifestyle? Or what are those important things and changes we can make in our in our lives to like spend the money in the places that matter more, and, you know, take nice trips, you know, now while you're working and you're young and you can enjoy it, rather than when you're in a wheelchair later on in life and can't, you know, enjoy it. So, you know, what are, you know, some of those things I think are important conversations to have in your home too, with your family, before you really even get started, right?
But what if you got paid on the purchase of the jeans, the sunglasses, the this, the that? You get what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's nice to have nice things.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. To have a more fulfilled life is more important. And so if I can have both, great. But if I can't, I want the more fulfilled life.
Yeah. But I like the idea though of the things that you do buy and those purchases that are not going to be necessarily fulfilling other than just pure vanity. Then if you can get a return on those, then that's good. But if you can get a return on your travel too, that's great too. I was in a network and marketing company once that was all about travel, and that was great because you got inexpensive vacations, and to me that was great. That's what I guess that's where my value is it's traveling and seeing the world too, right?
It is. I just talked to someone from India. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that very same thing. And so I asked him, had he been to India? He said, I'm sorry, had he been to the US? He said, no. I think he asked me, had I been to India? And I said, not yet. And so we talked, I said, like, I want to travel the world. I want to learn different cultures, have different experiences. Mm-hmm. And it dawned on me that we're so tied to the desk. Mm-hmm. We're working to provide somebody else's profits that we don't get the jet set, but they do.
Yeah, bingo. So time to come up with a really cool business idea, make lots of money so you can travel the world with your family whenever you like, and make your money work for you. Right? That's our goals, I think. We're all on the same page. I like it. Oh, that's so awesome. So Helaina, can we send our audience over to you? Where can we find out more information about you, working with you, and about your podcast?
I think the best place to go is to my website, middleclasstowealthy.com, because everything is there. My Instagram, Facebook group, Twitter, YouTube, my phone number, my email address. And if I don't have answers for you, I will definitely get you answers. Because I do believe that not just information is power, but being able to connect the dots. You get what I mean? Because I think that there's a lot of information available, and I think that we need to apply what we learn. No one is limiting our ability to have, but how do we connect the dots? How do we make that information that we have now work for us?
Yes, I love that. And on that note, Amplify You family, make sure you go check out middleclasstowealthy.com. Also check out Helaina's podcast as well. And until next time, start thinking about what's important to you and what your value is and what you value most and how you can make your money work for you. All right. Until next time, thank you so much, Helaina, for being with us today.
Thank you. It was great being here. I appreciate it.
All right. Until next week, guys, take care. And if we loved what you said, if what we said today resonated with you, please go and give us a review. We'd love to hear from you as well. All right. Take care and talk to you soon.